Wow, that really ends abruptly. We're gonna have to fix that intro. Hi, I'm Trina of Trina's Technobabble. Joining me we have Ryan Hayward of Everything is Broken Garage.
Good evening,
Hello,
everyone.
everyone. We need to
Uh,
start tonight with a very serious note.
yes, very serious.
Unfortunately, Frank, wow, I can't talk.
Well,
Yeah,
that's a Freudian slip. You're referring to him as as Jank.
Jank, all right. Frank, is no longer with us due to the fact that he did not join my last two streams, either in person or um, in the chat. I had to put a hit out on him. Dave has been ever so kind to go and complete that for me. On the positive side of things, all his retro tech will be going up for free to the so be prepared. We're gonna have a site. First come, first serve. Um,
Correct.
yeah. No. In all honesty, Frank had to go pick up his wife tonight, and he gave me a call and asked if I could do the hosting. So, um, yeah. So I am being your ever so send out the little ladies. Yeah, we had Frank dress up as a little lady. That was I forgot to
It was,
mention that.
yeah, he was during a geriatric drag event.
Exactly.
Frank was his.
But no, thank you everyone for joining us. Thought we'd start off with a bit of a. It's Friday. Thought we'd start
Thank
off with a
God.
bit of a. Yeah, right. Exactly. Here in where am I going here? Here in Canada,
Canada
it
land.
is it is the day of reconciliation. Well, actually, it's tomorrow officially.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
And some provinces that are not run by certain parties have that day off. My province is not one of them. It is in to eh, to how do I word this? It's to recognize what was done to the Native Canadians
Hmm.
by
Well,
settlers.
actually, the natives, not Canadians. We put that name on.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't know that wasn't a thing anymore. So
Well, no, they're they're the what would you call them? The original inhabitants of the land, right?
exactly, yes,
So
yes.
they they, they
We
pre
we
they pre they predate Canada.
yes, exactly, yes. But yeah, so everybody wears and it's mostly for the especially for the children that were brutally abused and killed and what have you, without going too dark uh, into that. So it's also in not remembrance. I keep wanting to say remembrance, but it's also in recognition of what happened to them as well.
Um,
So we all wear everyone here, at least a huge group of people wear orange shirts that say "Every child matters." I don't know how you can see that, but there it is.
so yeah, for our neighbors to the south who probably don't realize or don't know, Canada has a sort of a well, we have a lot of dark history, but this is one of the darkest moments for us is the
Hmm.
residential schools. But
Yes.
essentially, in what we thought was their best interest, which obviously it wasn't, we removed children from their parents and brought them to be assimilated into what we considered white culture in schools that were set up in every province in the country. And some of them were run by religious orders for different Christian faiths, some were run by government agencies, and some were a mixed bag of government agencies and different religious orders. It's a fairly dark history of Newfoundland,
Hmm.
so I recommend you should definitely read about it. It's something that we shouldn't forget, and we shouldn't just brush aside, and we should take the time. It's not a holiday; it's a day to remember. It's a day to do something um, to better the world, I guess. So we often do something nice on Truth and Reconciliation Day to try to commemorate at the same time, make Canada a better place than it was. So
Right. Anyway, on that ever
Anyway, on
so
that
jolly
terribly
note,
dark note,
yeah,
yes.
right. Who do we have
Who do?
joining us in the chat, Ryan?
Well, we have first and foremost a Sloopy, so we want to say hello to Sloopy. Then we have Jason Starbuck Tech. We have Adam McGee. We have Martin Mack. Sarah Gutbaum is with us. Um, Former Apple star Gareth Beagle also is joining us, as well as Eric Randall. And I think that's everybody.
Did you Oh, you did say hi to Martin Mack. Okay.
Yes, yeah, Martin Mack, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, welcome everybody. As you start to, I guess, file in, DJ Craze is here as well. So, yeah, anyway, it's good to see everybody. We're glad to have you here.
Right. So we're gonna. I'm gonna. I asked Frank when I was speaking to him to give me the link he uses for this day in tech history. So I'm just gonna go through that. So starting on September 21st, 2003, Galileo completes its Jupiter mission. After 14 years in space, 8 of those as the first man made object orbiting Jupiter, the unmanned NASA spacecraft Galileo descended to the atmosphere of the giant planet. NASA decided to end Galileo's mission in this manner to avoid any possibility of it colliding with one of Jupiter's moons and potentially contaminating it with bacteria from Earth. On September 22nd, 1986, computer code protected by copyright. The U.S. District Court of Northern District of California rules that computer code is protected under copyright law. Why do I feel like we've covered this before?
I think we covered the start of the
Okay,
case, and this
of
is
the
the
case.
finishing of
Okay,
the case. Yeah.
yeah, there we go. The
So it
ruling
took several
stems
weeks.
the ruling stems from the case of NEC Corp versus Intel Corp, which was basically a battle over who had the right to produce x86 processors. The rulings were uh, finding that Intel had copyright protection for the code, and the processors also found that reverse engineering code was also was also legal, and therefore NEC did not violate Intel's copyright in
They
producing
did
their
not.
own x86
And
processors.
so it was the first example, or not probably not the first example, but it was the first tech example, I guess, of what they call clean room backwards
Mm-hmm.
engineering. So some people steal code and figure out how to make clones of things, and some people do it the right way, which is the clean room
Right,
approach.
exactly. Then on September 23rd, 2008, the first Android was introduced. Google and T Mobile introduced the T Mobile G1, also known as the HTC Dream, the world's first Android based smartphone. By raw sales
Okay.
numbers, today Android is the world's most popular. Ooh, this is going to cause a bit of a flurry in the chat. By raw sales numbers, today Android is the world's most popular smartphone platform.
It is because not everybody can afford a $1,400 iPhone.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It's just the nature of the
Uh,
beast.
on September 24th, 1979, CompuServe launches MicroNet. CompuServe launches the first consumer-oriented online information service, say that 3 times fast, which they called Micronet. This market, the first time a consumer had access to services such as email. Ooh. The service was
The
the
future is
service was
now.
not right. The service was not favored internally within the business-oriented CompuServe, but as the service became a hit, they renamed the service CompuServe Information Services, or SIS. By the mid 1980s, CompuServe was the largest consumer information service in the world. Let me see
And
here. In 1989, CompuServe connected its proprietary email system to the Internet email system,
yeah,
making it one of the first commercial Internet services. However, CompuServe did not compete well with AOL or America Online, or independent uh, internet service providers in the 1990s and lost its dominant market position.
That's what always blows my mind when I look back. It's like there were independent internets that were segregated from the actual internet.
Hmm.
Like that's crazy to think about that they weren't all integrated or that they didn't all, utilize the same infrastructure. No, it was their own little islands.
And September 25th, 1973, the first personal computer you never heard of. And why didn't you hear of it? Because Microcomputer Machines of Canada, A, introduced their MCM/70 microcomputer at the Programmers User Conference in
Wow.
Toronto.
All
Rescue.
all four all 14 people attended.
Yeah, probably. Possibly the earliest commercially manufactured device that can now be considered a personal computer. The MCM/70 gained customers as companies such as Chevron, Mutual Life Insurance, NASA, and the U.S. Army. The company worked closely with Intel on the design of their computer and made very early use of the Intel 8008 processor,
Cool.
of which the basic design was used for future 8086 for Intel. However, failing to generate venture capital in the Canadian market. Well, here we go with the Canadians being dumb again. The MCM/70 never gained significant market acceptance. And by the
Well,
time,
in
oh,
fairness, Trina, not all of us had electricity in our igloos back then.
true enough, yes, this is true.
So,
We were lucky we had a phone on the wall in our igloo back in.
wow.
Oh no, 1973. Never mind, that was 77. So yeah, a few years in advance. Yeah, the MCM/70 never gained significant market share acceptance, and by the time the Apple II and other early personal computers were being released, the MCM was relegated to a footnote in history. So guess what the next big find will be? A bunch of MCM/70 computers in the states that will magically be like the Naboo. September 26, 1973. Condor breaks the Atlantic crossing speed record. The supersonic aircraft Condor makes its first nonstop Atlantic crossing and sets a new speed record in the process. Flying from
Concord.
Washington to Yeah, Concord, yeah.
Yeah.
Flying from DC to Paris, France in 3 hours and 32 minutes at an average speed of 954 miles per hour, the Concorde cut out the old speed record in half.
A
Let
lot
me
of
see here.
champagne on that flight. A lot of champagne on that flight.
September 27th, 1983. Richard Stallman announces the GNU project, promising a free Unix. Richard Stallman announces that he is going to write a complete Unix compatible software system he calls um, GNU or GNU, which stands for GNU's Not Unix. This is a significant milestone in the history of open source and free software. Stallman would later found the Free Software Foundation. And interesting little side note. God, what was it? 10 years ago, I want to say I actually saw Richard Stallman talk in Halifax and
Cool.
got him to sign a copy of his book with a Microsoft pen.
That's awesome.
Right. Also on September 27th, 1998, Google's fake birthday. For some particular reason, Google has at times chosen the date September 27th as their birthday, even though it's more officially September 4th or 7th. Google has no explanation, so I love for celebrating their birthday on a different days over the years, other than to say, and I'm quoting here, Google opened its doors in September 1998. The exact date which we celebrate our birthday has moved around over the years, depending on when people feel like having cake. and
Fair enough.
both.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Let me see here. September 28th, 1997. Apple asks us to think different. Just a little over 2 weeks after naming Steve Jobs interim CEO, Apple launches their Think Different ad campaign. Designed to reintroduce the Apple brand, the campaign was nearly universally praised by the press, general public, and advertising industry, winning several awards along the way. Looking back in context, Think Different was the symbiotic. It was the start of Apple's resurgence from near collapse in the 1990s into the most valuable company in the world.
Sitting on
Um,
about what? What are they sitting on now?
oh
What's
God only knows, yeah.
Apple's value today? It's 2.68 trillion.
Jeez. The campaign was anchored on the now famous prose, commonly called great quote unquote crazy ones, which was narrated by Richard Dreyfuss in the commercial most people are familiar with. It is commonly thought that Steve Jobs wrote Crazy Ones, but in fact it was written by Rob. I don't know how to say his last name, and Ken. Rob and Ken. That's all we need to know. Who worked at Apple's advertising agency?
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Um, and then finally, September 29th, 1983. So today, Microsoft Word 1.0 for DOS releases. So Microsoft releases their first software application, Microsoft Word 1.0, for use with MS-DOS compatible system. Word was the first word processing software to make extensive use of the computer mouse. Not coincidentally, Microsoft had released a computer mouse for IBM compatible PCs earlier in the year, and in fact, I have one of those mice. A demo version was also included for free with a copy of PC World magazine, making the making the first time a floppy disk was included with a magazine.
And you know the best part
So
about Word point 1.0 is?
it doesn't require a subscription.
No, that stupid bastard Clippy isn't there. God, I hope he burns in hell.
Love it, love it. But Clippy was so much fun. And
Sorry,
hey,
my rage was building up.
that's
Uh,
okay. Um, so Frank just made a comment saying, "I'm in the drive-thru at McDonald's. Does anyone want anything?" Yes, I'll take a Big Mac meal, Diet Coke, and a regular size Smarty McFlurry with extra Smarties. Thank you.
so you went for the Diet Coke, but you went full gore board on the McFlurry.
Yes.
Diabetes is a strange beast.
All right. I can't have regular pop and the ice cream because it would totally kill my sugars. But hey,
Yeah. Hey, it's a Ron from Ron's computer videos.
hi Ron. And I've been watching a lot of actually. Speaking of Ron, everyone should go check out the two panels that he hosted. One with our lovely friend here in the chat, Eric's Edge, and the other one with Mac84,
Yes,
Steve.
some crazy guy who collects printers and has a house built out of them.
Right? Yeah, both talks were really well done.
They were awesome.
Oh, and by the way, in case you didn't know, it was Ron of Ron's Computers videos hosting it because I think he said it about 5 times per session.
But in fairness, as many times as he said it, Adrian Black this week referred to him as Ron's computer things.
Ron's
So
Computer.
the amount he needs to bump up that the brand
Right?
recognition. So he has to say it several more times.
He has to say it's okay. In 1985, Australian rock singer Falco releases Rock Me Amadeus. Ooh,
Yes.
interesting. Oh, and by the way, also this week in history, since it's not covered in the tech part of things, I can't remember the date. Was it? I think it was the 28th. But Gutbomb can correct me in the chat. Um, it was the premiere episode in 1987 of Star Trek: of The Next Generations or Next Generation. Wow, I cannot talk tonight.
Yes, the 28th.
It was the 28th. Yeah, yeah. There we go. 1987 was Encounter at Farpoint, which was such a disappointing first episode. But anyway.
Just put the links to those VCF Midwest videos in the
Oh, perfect.
chat there.
Thank
So
you.
if
Thank you.
anybody hasn't seen it, go ahead and watch it.
And by the way, Eric and Ron, I do have a question for you. Whose wife was in the front row laughing at every joke? If you
There was
watch
somebody laughing.
there was this woman who kept laughing, and I figured it was either Ron or Eric's wife there to add kind of like a laugh track kind of esque feel, so that everybody else would laugh.
I can hear Ron now saying something like, "Well, you see, Trina, the laugh track of a show has to come from somewhere."
Right?
But yes, VCF Midwest looked like a hell of a time, and
Yeah.
my only regret is that I didn't get to go this year because I feel like all the little funness that has been identified as somewhat of negative will be fixed next year. So I think
Oh,
like
here
the sneaking early and the uh, it was the best
we
$20 I ever spent.
we found out we found out the history or the background of the laughing lady.
Hmm.
Eric paid her $20 to laugh.
Oh, Garth says I missed out on the COVID. Listen, I work at a school. I am immune to 90% of things now.
I We were talking about actually that today at work because I work at sick kids, and Tim was like, "Why do you wear a mask every time you go to?" I'm like, "There's
It's in
kids.
the it's in
It's
the name.
cold. It's cold season. Kids sneeze and cough without covering said mouth. Um, yeah, don't really want to get sick. So,
Ron says neither of our wives are there. However, it turns out we're just really funny,
oh,
which I
okay,
would agree.
I agree with that as well. But yeah, I didn't get COVID from Midwest either. But then again, I didn't go. But on
No,
the
and you
plus
didn't
side,
get from work. So there you go.
yeah,
Either work.
yeah, right. I was gonna say I didn't get it from work either. So yay. All right. So Ryan, what do you have to talk about tonight?
So apparently they caught Tupac's killer.
Okay.
Sorry, I just the news popped up on my computer.
Oh, and by the way, I'm just gonna make a note here. Yes, yes, they
One
are.
hundred percent.
Although, so really interesting. They came up with a new ad campaign at work, and they have pictures of kids who I just assumed were models, like you know what I mean, like kid models. Um, and then I was going downstairs to grab lunch yesterday, and one of the mother was taking a picture of the kid in front of his photo on the
Cool.
wall. And I'm like, oh, so these are real kids. It was really cool.
Yeah, yeah. It's like we did an ad campaign for the school. Why would we choose anybody but our own kids? That seems foolish. In fact, it makes it less real. I guess. Does that
Yeah,
make
yeah,
sense?
no,
Like
so they're legit kids that've been at the hospital. Because I
that's
asked,
awesome.
I asked the mother, I'm like, so was your son a patient here? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, that is so cool.
Trina, Trina, do you have a Coco 3?
I do not have a Coco 3.
I think I have one. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
It's heavily modified. No, they're saying in the
So
chat you need a Coco 3.
I saw that. Oh no, oh no, no. Sorry, wrong one. I wanted to mention. Here in Canada, you don't pay for your
No,
hospital stays. So, yeah,
actually, sorry. You do if you're still in the hospital after they discharge you.
well, yes, that makes it.
But it's $46 a day. So
Yeah.
and that includes meals. So realistically, if you can find a way into a hospital, it's one of the cheapest hotels you'll find,
Right? All right.
assuming they don't chase
My
you out.
my food is about to be delivered, so why don't you start your topic and I will be right
Okay,
back. Okay.
I will get on my soapbox.
There you go. Have fun.
Thank you. I guess the other thing we'll do real quick is a little shout out to our sponsor, PCBWay.
Yes.
Uh, PCBWay, the fine purveyors of all things PCB, 3D printing, and steel, what is it, sheet metal fabrication. Check them out if you need projects made, if you're doing any PCB designs, if you need PC, if you need project boxes, they can build all that kind of stuff. I had a project here that I just started that I'm going to bring up. I'm just going to let that run while I dig through my PCB envelope that I got. PCBWay envelope, I should say. All right, perfect. I'm going to come back. So yeah, I've recently sent these to be printed. These are Dallas uh, clock chip replacement PCBs that I had them made, and I got them made in red because why not? And they did a fantastic job. I also chose the cheapest shipping option, and it got here within 12 days from China, which I thought was fabulous. Um, it's also really nice. You get a personal um, support person if you need help with things. They're very helpful. They provided me some guidance on uh, what type of amount I should say of them I should get printed for the best value. So I ended up getting 50 of these printed. I think it cost me about this is before our sponsorship. I think they were $20, $25 Canadian shipped. So not the end of the world. But yeah, so if you need things done, um, printed or 3D printed or PCBs made, sheet metal fabrication, injection molding. They do it all. So check out PCBWay.com. And yeah, I'll stop the ad there now and we'll go from there. So this week, I only have a few things to talk about. I have a new segment, which is what we'll do after I have a little chat about my topic for this evening. So Microsoft this week, more specifically, actually, it was it was yesterday, I think, or was it today? No, it was yesterday. Microsoft got a bunch of their alumni together because I didn't realize they had alumni, like they're some sort of university. But former employees came back to Microsoft in Redmond and to look at what AI and the world is going to look like. So it's sort of like an AI symposium, if you will. Um, Kind of cool. There's some, big wigs there. I was expecting Steve Ballmer to get all sweaty and run around on the stage screaming programmers, but it didn't happen, unfortunately. But one of the great quotes from the show is the Mike Sievert, who was he used to be the what was he? He was former Windows marketing executive. So he works now. He's president, CEO of T-Mobile now. But he made a great quote. He was one of the speakers. So he said, "It's really great for me to be able to finally come back and collect your thanks and admiration for Windows Vista because it happened under his tutelage. So it's kind of funny that they are able to poke fun at their own terribleness, which is Windows Vista. Um, but it was kind of cool. Apparently, it was a who's who of former Microsoft and current Microsoft employees. They had about 600 people from 17 countries, so they actually flew people in. They all met starting Monday, sorry, and it wrapped up this morning. Apparently, it's all coming together with Microsoft's 50th birthday, which is going to be happening in about 2 years. So as the uh, next 2 years progress, Microsoft will be celebrating more and more of these type events. Um, who's making noise? Trina, my goodness.
Oh, sorry.
Mute, mute yourself. My God. There we go. Um, yeah, so it was a good turnout. They had a great live event if you can watch it online. But I thought the little jabs they gave themselves um, was sort of funny, and I got a little chuckle out of the Vista one specifically because I remember I was there for Vista's launch. I know it sounds like I was there, Gandalf, 3,000 years ago. But I remember working in electronic reseller. Actually, it was Radio Shack, but at that point it was called Source. And we were prepped for the Windows Vista launch. We expected we would have people lined up around the corner waiting to get in to buy Vista the morning it launched, and we had nobody show up. So we had like, you know, posters, and I think there was a cake. I think we gave away like keychains, and we were expecting this like mad rush on the place, and nobody showed up. And I said, "That's we kind of knew we were all geeks. We had been running the beta version of Vista for months at this point, and we knew how terrible it was. So we expected this, but it was just funny that we went through this whole motion and then nobody showed up. So if I remember correctly, we all just ended up playing World of Warcraft for the rest of the day on some really beefy gaming machines that we had brought in specifically for the Vista launch, which I
I
think
love
ended up
that.
sitting on the shelf for months because nobody wanted to buy them because they were stupid expensive. And who goes to the Radio Shack to buy their gaming PC even in 2006? So anyway, that was my topic for today. I love when people come back to companies and then because they know they have no like there's no recourse, like they can make those jokes. They can, say, "Man, that was a terrible thing that I did. What a terrible product I put out." Yeah. So yeah, there is an echo. Trina, it sounds like it's coming from your end.
All right, I don't hear it on my end. I'm not hearing any echo.
People are saying they can hear it in the. Oh, Joe's here. Hi, Joe.
Hey, Joe. Yeah, no, I saw your comment, Adam, but I don't hear an echo. But
I
I will.
do.
You do? Okay, I'll mute
Yeah.
myself then.
Is the echo still there? Nope, it's gone. So Trina, something on your end. Um, yeah, yeah. So Trina has no echo, no, but it was. I think it's her microphone that's causing the echo. We've had that happen before, where it's like something to do with her headset mic is not actually picking up. It's the microphone in her. I don't remember. There was something previous. We've had this problem. We should all be fixed soon because we're going to invest heavily in some new equipment, which is fantastic. I'm very excited about. Anyway, so that was my topic for today. Now the next thing that I want to show is my new segment that I'm excited to call. It's called Green with Envy. So I'm sure many of you out there get stuff sent to you every week where people are like, "Hey, check out this cool score that I got," and you love the fact they people found these things, but you also secretly hate them for it. You're like, "Ah, I can't believe you got that." So today, one of our local retro guys, I'm not going to say his full name, but I think I can say his first name. Um, just want to make sure it's okay with him. I messaged him. He didn't message me back. Anyway, I'm just going to call him Peter because that's his first name. Peter sent me a message or posted in our local retro group that he had located this cool find that was going to e-waste. He works for a company that does some things, picks some stuff up, and this was scheduled to go to e-waste. So he, of course, like you would, grabbed onto it. So I'm going to share that real quickly, but I'm going to do the segment. Here's the Green with Envy, sponsored by PCBWay. And yeah, so Peter found this lovely, and I mean, I don't know if you can tell from the pictures, but it is in pristine shape. And Peter actually sent some interior shots. I don't think this was ever turned on. I think this is was like a backup or in case of emergency PC that just never got used. But it is immaculate. Now Hewlett Rand, for anybody south of the border who doesn't know, we're a Canadian company based out of somewhere in BC actually, somewhere near where a couple of other Canadian brands were based out of. Cenex is one of them. Anyway, they basically resold white box PCs. For the longest time, they were actually getting their PCs made in the same place that Samsung and Packard Bell were. So there's a lot of overlap between what Hewlett Rand sold and what Packard Bell sold. But towards the sort of P1, P2 era, they started making just white box clone machines that were nothing special. Um, I see, just looking at some of the comments here. I see Adam says he would have just thrown it away. Of course you would have, Adam. Uh, you know, why wouldn't you? I enjoy the 486 cache or cache sticker, the Intel inside, the beautiful Hewler Rand graphics. The only thing that it's missing is it needs a megahertz screen. It doesn't obviously have one of those, so it's kind of sad. But that's the only thing it's missing. So I have some interior shots of it here now. So we'll turn that off. We'll go to the second one. So this is the processor. It's a 66 megahertz, I think. I think it's 66. Was it 33? I can't tell. I can't see that picture very well. Um, but you can see how clean inside the board is. There's no dust on any of those cables. The processor was exactly as you see it. He didn't do anything to do it. Um, Scarlett the four-eyed computer. I've always called the Packard Bell computers Taco Bell computers. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Okay, so it's a 50 megahertz. So, it's nothing crazy to write home about. But the fact it's so clean is what gets me. And it had this weird card in it. And I've already asked in Discord if anybody knows what this card is, because I'm at a loss. I've done a quick bit of Googling. It might be a network card. The machine itself had a Novell NetWare server installed on it. So I don't know if this is some sort of fancy network card. Maybe somebody in the chat will know. But the brand, it's made by a company called Newport Systems. It was made on the 17th, I think it's, sorry, the first month, 7th day of 93. And let's see if there's any other stickers. It just says Newport Systems Solutions is the name of it. But you can see it has these two massive daughter boards on it, as well as it's a full length, and I'll move it up. It's a full length card. So she's pretty girthy. Anyway, I was pretty happy for Peter when he sent it to me. The first thing I noticed in one of the pictures was there was a Varda battery, so I suggested he remove that, and he's actually going to come and pick up a Ron's computer video battery board that I made up a couple of. So big shout out to Ron again for sending me those boards to put together. Really appreciate it. They're going to help a lot of retro computers stay alive and not be battery bombed. So do appreciate that. But yeah, so that is Green with Envy, our segment where you're both happy and envious of one of your fellow retro tech friends. So feel free every week. I don't know if we're going to do it every week, but if you want to send your find of the week to me, you can send it to me on Discord. You can send it to me on Facebook. You can send it to me through email, and or on other socials. Yeah, you can send me your find of the week, and maybe it'll make it into my segment, Green with Envy. Anyway,
Hi.
that's it.
I think the
Ron, what's wrong with
prices.
my microphone?
Oh, we have echo. It's me.
It's you.
I don't know why it's echoing. I didn't do anything.
Weird. Move the microphone slightly away from your headset.
How is that?
Hello?
Hello?
It's still there.
Mm.
Oh, my microphone is flipping. Oh, sorry. Maybe it's because I was moving and my shirt was rubbing it. It's possible. It's this that is my microphone. I'm still waiting on my my new Yeti to arrive.
Well, why don't you close
Yeah.
out the show? I'm going to mute myself. Close out the show, right?
Okay. Sure.
Okay. And I'll
Well,
put. Oh, I'm going to put an invite link to so people can join afterwards. So.
yeah. Cool. Well, thank God Trina's muted, so we can say stuff about her. She can't say anything back to us. Okay, she's gone. Good. So yeah, thanks guys for showing up. It was a quiet week because we're obviously missing a third of our show, which is Frank. So we hope next week to have the whole gang back again. Um, I don't think there's anything else I wanted to talk about. This weekend is actually, I will give it a little shout out. This weekend, October 1st, is International or National Get Out and Drive Day. So Sunday, October 1st, is sort of a day to get out and enjoy sort of the last, especially for us in the northern climate, the last sort of vestiges of summer, and enjoy driving or racing one of your vehicles of choice, be it gas powered or electric or a bike or an ATV or a golf cart, or even if it's Garth and his helicopter. Um, it's just all about getting out and just go somewhere, drive the back roads, find something scenic to look at, spend some time with a loved one. So yeah, National Get Out and Drive Day is October 1st. So I know it's not a car show, but I figured it would be cool to mention it to everybody. And I work very closely with this particular organization. So yeah, it's sort of one of our pet projects is to try to get people out and drive. Gas powered stick never runs out of gas. You know, True. I've actually that's a lie. My Audi is a manual, and it has run out of gas several times because the gas gauge is broken. Because it's a early '90s Audi, and it's what they do. Anyway, so thank you guys for coming.
I am just
I
going to make a
appreciate
quick.
you.
I'm just going to make a quick mention. Sorry about the echo.
Yep.
But I am streaming this Sunday in place of Dave's Vintage Apple Tech. I just made the link tonight, so yeah, I'll be doing a stream between 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern. So don't forget to check that out.
Cool. So yeah, thanks for showing up, everybody. I appreciate you being here, and as always, we're happy to help, or sorry, happy to have you here, and really appreciate the support, and thank you. And again, a shout out to our sponsor, PCBWay. Thank you for always, for the last month, being a fantastic supporter of this channel and providing us with some really cool services. We were getting some really cool stuff 3D printed. We just sent, actually, I suppose I can say, we just sent, myself and Frank just sent a design for a new C64 power supply replacement that we're going to start putting together. We're very excited. But anyway, Trina's going to throw the link to the stream in the chat. So on that note, I wish you all a fantastic evening. I've got some pearls of wisdom. Let me think. Uh, Take my advice, pull down your pants, and slide on the ice. Good night.